There are too few opportunities to become awesome at life. I am giving you 3 right now. The first, go watch my unboxing and presentation of Batman the Animated Series Shadow of the Bat, the definitive Batman dungeon crawler. Your second opportunity, go watch my unboxing and presentation of Loke Battlemats the Cyberpunk set, Volume 1 and 2. And for your third opportunity, right now, watch this video, which will show you how to implement Batman Shadow of the Bat with the Cyberpunk set. That's right, we're going to Gotham City. Okay, egotism aside, somebody recommended that I try out Batman the Animated Series with the Cyberpunk set, and I thought that was an amazing idea. I won't say who, but I mean, feel free to dox yourself below. Full disclaimer, because I'm not brilliant enough to have come up with that on my own. Batman the Animated Series has a dungeon crawling board game. It was an IDW Games joint. They also made Shadows of the Past, which is the same thing, but Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So if you have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, Shadows of the Past, or Change is Constant, I think is the other one, or any of those, and you're wondering if the Cyberpunk set will work, well, you can just watch the Cyberpunk set video. But this is going to put the minis on the board, and we're going to discuss kind of limitations. And oh, you can kind of see me in the reflection. Hi, yes, I'm wearing my Sonic the Hedgehog shirt. Gotta go fast. Limitations and considerations when using this particular game system with this particular asset. We're really not going to do a whole lot with the existing assets of the game other than the miniatures, and talk about the setting of Gotham City, or at least the sections of Gotham City that fit very well with the maps presented by the Cyberpunk set. This should be a pretty short video, but I also wanted to go through some of the scenarios and follow some of the episodes from one of the greatest cartoons of all time. As I open this to page 1, I see just a myriad of opportunities. This is buildings, it's rooftops, it's alleyways, all together. Now, the existing Batman Shadows of the Bat boards are this size. They're like 1.25 inch tile grid standard. It's pretty oversized. They didn't need to be this big. But Ash, if they weren't that big, then they wouldn't fit the tiles. Wow, you got me there. You are right. When you're right, you're right. So this comes with the consequence that the included tiles are going to be oversized for the inch grid standard provided by the Cyberpunk set from Loki, which in a nutshell just means that your maps are not going to be compatible. Your tiles that represent things on the board are not going to be compatible unless you're okay with them being oversized. I'm not. I wouldn't put them on there. Having said that, there are not a lot of baked-in things on each of these maps. Yes, we do have clearly marked zones, and the colors of the outlines here do mean different things within this game system. And I have a couple of comments about that. One, while I love the dungeon crawler format so much, and I love grid-based tile systems, square grids being fine, hex grids definitely having their place. I don't like hexes on everything. I do love hex grids, but I think if you're going to be in a dungeon, it needs to be square. Just my personal opinion, not an authority on the matter. I absolutely do not like the very thick outlines on the furniture indicating what kind of terrain that it is. I think that these should have been left off, and I think that we could have maybe had just like a picture of this map in the book, and maybe if needed, we could have had the outlines suggesting what kind of terrain it was. I really think that this is a handhold, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If you need your hand held to determine whether or not a particular terrain like this is a rooftop, this is a rooftop, this is not. If you want to get from here to here, you have to implement an additional mechanic like a movement check of some kind, or you have to lose a space when you're moving through it. But I just didn't think it was necessary enough to put those outlines on the boards directly like this. And if it was, I probably would have done something like a dashed line instead of a solid line. The point being that they are immersion hurting. They harm the immersion. They don't really break it completely, but they do harm it, and they make it seem to be more of a sterilization of the narrative by saying the mechanics are more important than the immersion. So I would suggest that you actually have plenty of opportunity with the baked-in features of the Loki maps to have these exact same mechanics play out. You just don't have the overt and super explicit and obvious outlines on everything. But do you see these tables? Just say that they all have the yellow outline. You're able to use them as cover. There's no need to have that here. The presence of the bushes should suggest already that you can use them as cover. If they used a more cohesive art style, they could have said, hey, bushes and tables in this game, such as these, and provided visual examples in the book, are cover. But I'm going to stop complaining about that now. There are a lot of other colors too, like purple is you're going to fall to your doom. Orange is danger. Orange doesn't actually mean danger. It means something else, but it can be applied to hinder your movement. I'm not sure how the stairs can be used as cover, unless this map is particularly supposed to be butted up against another map. But in any case, you can have these exact same features present on every board contained within the Loki's Battle Maps books. And the Cyberpunk set, although it is named for Cyberpunk because of its association with CD Projekt Red and the Cyberpunk 2077 universe and all of that, they can be used for other settings as well. I have name-dropped Judge Dredd. I have name-dropped Mad Max. I did a video saying that you could use these with Mutant Chronicles, and it was fine. The majority of the maps, anyway. Maybe not all of them. All of them are perfect for Cyberpunk Red, but you could use this as a kitchen, a restaurant in Gotham City. That is extremely easy to do. There is nothing here that would suggest it's incompatible with the modern / mid-century Chicago architecture of Gotham City. Sometimes, depending on the version of Batman that you're enjoying, the time period is a little bit ambiguous. You might be enjoying the Adam West 1960s Batman, in which case it's going to take place in the 1960s, and there's nothing we can do about that. Since the tiles and the existing maps are not compatible, the one thing that is compatible, besides the gameplay elements of the cards and the tokens and stuff that you're going to use to track progress of your characters, is the miniatures. The miniatures are on pretty standard base sizes, so they didn't have to make the map squares so big, especially since you can't share them. It's one mini per space. These guys will fit quite nicely in their squares. There should be very little encroachment. Obviously, I'm saying Man-Bat can fit on the square. His wingspan is huge, but this is a rogues gallery character. This is a boss, so this is somebody who should be positioned accordingly. And even though his wingspan is big, that doesn't stop him in the slightest from being surrounded by all of these characters, both good and bad. So your skirmishes can take place very easily, despite the sizes of the bases or however the characters might be encroaching onto the spaces. You're not going to get that as badly as you do in some other games like HeroQuest. 85 episodes of Batman the Animated Series aired, with a further 24 airing under the title The New Batman Adventures, and you can portray the vast majority of those using the Shadow of the Bat game system with the Cyberpunk set books. You could probably shoehorn and portray all of them also with the included boards. After all, you've got some situations here that are not present in the Cyberpunk maps. These are pretty much modeled after certain scenes in the cartoon, but they're also made to be versatile, so they're going to be a little bit more vague. It's not going to be just like this exact specific scene. Like this could be Rupert Thorne's office. This could be Bruce Wayne's office. Man, I miss Rupert Thorne. I forgot all about him. Nobody interprets Rupert Thorne. He's a threatening mobster. Nobody ever. This could be Carmine Falcone or Sal Maroni's office. Yes, I can see that there's a Gotham City emblem here on the back. We can just cover that up and then bam, mobster headquarters. But if you don't like the idea of that, you can easily select one of these rooms present in the multi-room buildings to serve, and you actually have a pretty serviceable dungeon crawler area for this setting as well, since Batman and Robin and Catwoman and just about anybody can fight their way through armies of mobs to get to where they need to go. Okay, so just like the boards that come with the game, these have the advantage that you can connect any two together in any orientation, and they will always line up and they will mesh perfectly well with each other with very, very few exceptions. The Loki's Battle Mats maps are always designed with this feature in mind. Don't like the look of this? Just turn the page and then you have this instead. Okay, this is one of the exceptions because we have a road directly going into an open door in the building. But I mean, just turn the page and then bam, that works. That perfectly works. There's nothing here to suggest that this would not be fully compatible or work. Turn the page again. Okay, that one's probably not going to work. This is a very special scene, this road rage crash site deal. Turn it again, and now we have kind of like these slums, which could very well be outside this laboratory, this facility that has been newly built in the slums. Perhaps they take the people out of this area, this blast affected zone at night and experiment on them or what have you. Or you actually have two different living conditions here. people invited from the outside to stay here, and then they slowly get chips implanted into them or whatever to appease whatever villain of Gotham City might have that plan, perhaps the Mad Hatter. You have your long and winding corridors also for your corridor combat. I talked about going through the episodes. The first episode is On Leather Wings. This is a fantastic episode. It's a great introduction into Batman the Animated Series. It is said that Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill did their voice lines and everything, and then when they sat down to watch the premiere, they were blown away by what they saw because they were like, we've been working on this? You have all the maps in these books you need to represent pretty much every scene from that episode. I switched to the cargo yard and I immediately got distracted because there are so many episodes that take place at some point in a cargo area at the docks. Gotham City seems like a port city, so at the very least it's situated against a river. So you have all of this opportunity for these cargo loadings, unloadings to happen, and you've got all these shady dealings that could happen in this setting. Christmas with the Joker is episode 2. We obviously have our Joker miniature. We've got all the heroes you could possibly want for that episode, but in that episode we also have Commissioner Gordon, who is a hostage, a Harvey Bullock. Where are you at, Harvey? Right here. This is Harvey Bullock, looking dapper as ever, and Summer Gleason, I think is a TV personality or a reporter, an anchor of some kind. We can just use the generic female victim for that. It's got them holed up. The Joker challenges Batman to find his hidden TV studio, or he's going to do horrible things to these folks. I wonder if that's the episode where Harley Quinn is reading the phone numbers out of the book. And they're laughing. They're laughing at the phone numbers because they're being affected by the fear gas. Not the fear, the Joker gas. Gosh. Yeah, you've got the maps to represent that here. Given the size of the Batman missions as they are, the episodes as they are, I'd probably keep the size, if you're going to use the Loki books to replace the boards, to both of the books open, and then that's like your entire quest, your entire mission. So you select your Act 1 and then your Act 2 book basically, and your mission's going to take place, and then you have no surprises as to how much more table space is going to get encroached upon or anything like that. Your 24 by 24 board is set up. So like for this one, I'd probably have the actual TV studio set in this room. So I have plenty of room for combat, and I've got the hostages close by, and then you've got your escape route if you want to incorporate an additional mechanic after Joker gets defeated, such as, okay, well, there's a gas leak now. The episode The Underdwellers would be a very interesting scenario to play out. Use both of the sort of ruins here maps and say that it's the sewers of Gotham City. Unfortunately, the base game of Shadow of the Bat does not come with a Sewer King miniature. I'm actually not sure if the expansions do either, but I would think that one of them does. But then you need miniatures to represent all of the children, and the children, of course, are going to be trained to attack you, but you can't hurt any of them. You need to make sure you get through the sewers and chase after the Sewer King and take him down without hurting any of the children in the scenario, because they were raised by the Sewer King. It's kind of a strange, traumatic. He's kidnapped and brainwashed them. There's not even anything supernatural or high-tech about the scenario. It's just a creepy guy takes a bunch of kids into the sewers and has them defending his territory while he rules like a king. There's a scenario in which you could play as Montoya. We do have a Montoya miniature, thankfully. You can go infiltrate and take down the thugs that are holding Batman. And there's no like famous rogues gallery villain in that scenario. It's just smugglers. And this is a good scenario to establish some world building within the Batman TAS universe if you are establishing it at your table versus it being established in the episodes on which the missions are based. And you can establish Renee Montoya as this awesome supporting character that is sometimes playable. She's not playable in this game. She does have a miniature, but she's not playable. But we can change that, of course. We can do whatever we want. Both Loki books include this sort of desert map, and I bet you thought that I couldn't get this into a Batman episode mission, but I absolutely can. The episode The Forgotten is actually one of the finer episodes in the cartoon. We don't have a miniature to represent just Bruce Wayne, at least again, not in the base game system of Shadow of the Bat, but this is the episode where he has amnesia and is taken into this sort of illegal chain gang situation, and there he has to stay until Alfred finds him and he eventually recovers his memory. One of the best episodes in the series. So for some of these, you would have to kind of shoehorn some of the locations. Like, we can't have like a nice suburban neighborhood or a basement to establish I've got Batman in my basement. But that would be a really fun one if you wanted to choose a couple of maps to represent it anyway, and you could absolutely use one of the other Loki books and just use one of the fantasy settings to incorporate some houses and some woods outside the basement of the episode. And then that would give you your basement setting. You have the Penguin, you've got a bunch of thugs that come in, you kind of play it like a tower defense. And I realize I'm doing some high-level conceptualizing here without getting into the nitty-gritty of how it would actually play out, but I'm just saying we have the resources to attempt this. The pages that I have open right now across both books would serve as the mission setting for Beware the Grey Ghost quite easily, and Adam West is the voice of the Grey Ghost, the voice of Simon Trent in that episode. Another great episode. Every single one of them is great. I'm going to stop saying they're great because they're all great. Feet of Clay, part 1 and 2, in which Clayface's origins are explained, as well as the amazing again and heartbreaking episode Mudslide could easily be made with these maps as well. Although obviously you would need the Arkham Asylum expansion to this game if you wanted the Clayface model, which that's a great expansion to get anyway because it has a ton of the other models that you would need to do the vast majority of the remainder of the episodes available in TAS. I really don't have a lot more to say about this idea. It's perfectly doable. It's definitely worth getting one of these things if you already have the other, if you would like to extend what is already the definitive Batman dungeon crawler into like an infinite universe way beyond the included tiles and maps that are with its own game system. And if you fancy the idea, let me know, because I would love to know if anybody out there would actually play the game. The inclusion of the Loki's maps wouldn't really alter the gameplay structure or the rules in any way, shape, or form. You would just set up your scenario and use the tokens and start playing. If you needed to use different tokens because of the amount of tokens encroaching on the other tiles due to the tokens being 1.25 inches, that's about the only con that I can see to this whole arrangement. You wouldn't have to change anything that exists except for the usage of those tokens. But because you are playing scenarios that you make up and not scenarios that are already in the books that are using those tokens with the predefined maps that are included with the game itself, you can make your own tokens that are sized appropriately for the Cyberpunk set, and the Cyberpunk set has a variety of clings, and some of these additions, tiers in this package have got tokens as well that are sized for this. So you already have cars, tankers, stuff that you would find in the city on the busy street, all included. So that is a wealth of homebrew opportunity. I really just wanted to yap about Batman and Loki today, and again reiterate how great both of these things are. So if you enjoyed this adventure, please let me know in the comments below. If you disagreed or disliked the video, hit that down vote button and let me know what you didn't like about it. And I will see you in the next exciting adventure, either way, or maybe not either way if this is the video that you hated so much that you decided to never return. So till then, brave heroes and vigilantes alike, I look forward to reading your comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.